I'm here with Derek Long, a closing attorney with Chicago Title and one of the most respected closing attorneys in our Dallas Metroplex area. And I'm glad you're here, Joe. You know, when you look at the home purchasing process, so much focus is on finding a home, searching it, negotiating contracts, getting the loan approved. And it seems like the title aspect, the milestone, is considered, well, that's an afterthought. And I know that's not really true. And I thought I'd love to hear your opinion about the significance of that milestone, the closing process when it's all over with. Tell me about it.
So for us as a title company, we really think that we're a part of a team. So we think that you have buyers and sellers, you have agents representing those people, you have lenders coming in to help get a deal closed, and we think we are a part of that whole process to get someone to closing. When we come in, we do come in at a little bit of a later phase of it, getting us to that final step, that exciting step of actually closing. But getting there involves getting title commitments and seeing what the history of the property and satisfying all the parties that they're getting what they thought they were going to get. And that's such an important phase.
Well, customers don't really know or understand your role completely. In addition to closing day, what other services should they expect that they're not aware of?
So what our title company really focuses on is communication from day one. So the day we get the contract, the day that we are involved in transaction, we are sending out a calendar of events, those critical dates that everyone needs to live by under the contract. It's just a real reminder of, hey, these are the important dates. You receive all the exception documents and all the important documents, the survey and all those important documents that are tied to the property. And then throughout that process, we're there to answer questions and help you. That is really what I am here to do, is help buyers, help sellers, help lenders, help agents understand what's going on and help them fix problems.
Well, you know, they get the title commitment. You got schedule A, B, C. You're getting, survey, and they go, well, what is the survey? What do those lines mean? Well, what kind of questions should a client be asking you?
I think the most important question to ask a title company is always, what is abnormal on this deal? What is different from every other deal? Show me on the title commitment what is specific to this property. Some things are very promulgated and standard. They don't really matter because they're in every commitment, but I want to know what's different. Help me understand what's different. That's the best question to ask, and that just can start a dialogue to discuss the survey, discuss the title commitment, and really see, hey, what am I getting? What are the potential issues with the property?
Well, you know, there's so many closing documents you sign on the day of closing. I mean, out of all those documents, which are the ones should a client pay particular attention to?
I think the most important one is definitely the numbers. It's going to be that settlement statement and closing disclosure. That gets you your numbers, your bottom line. What's this transaction costing me? And then the second one is your promissory note, because you want to know, well, now that I've bought this house, what is it going to cost me every month? And that promissory note is those facts. It's going to tell you your interest rate. It's going to tell you how much you're borrowing and what your payment is. I think those are the most important things.
You know, what is the most common question you receive from clients?
One of the most common is when we're looking at a survey together, is they want to know about the boundary lines. And that's what I look at most with surveys when I go over with customers or agents. I look at where the fences are on the property. I look at anything near the boundary, and is it on our property? Is it off our property? Is there an issue there? Those are the most important ones, and that's what we probably get asked about the most.
Well, you know, when I talk to borrowers, they say, I've been told the closing's going to last an hour and a half. I've never seen one last that long. What would you say is the average closing time?
My average closings are 30 minutes.
Yes.
We want to make it a great experience for both buyers, sellers, and all the parties involved. But it's also signing paperwork. So I talk about every document when I'm doing my closings so they understand what they're signing without having to read every word. I don't want to read every word, so I know they don't really want to. So that is the most important thing, is them to understand and be comfortable. We can get it done in 30 minutes.
Well, you know, one of the biggest fears people have is fees. They don't know what the fees are. I mean, what I'm going to be charged? Are they fair or whatever? I mean, what is your perspective? Everybody's concerned about fees. What is your perspective regarding fees? I mean, how can you reassure buyers, borrowers, or whatever, that the fees are going to be realistic and they're going to be fair?
So the title premium is all set by the state of Texas. So what the title policy costs, there is no variation in that. From title company to title company, it's the same. The only variation are some of the other costs, such as our escrow closing fee, a tax certificate, some other fees, but those are very minimal in the title industry these days.
And they always have to be actual. It's no one party can take a fee and add something like a handling fee or a management fee. It's got to be actual third-party fees. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, this is kind of funny. I know you have an extraordinary referral base, repeat customers, and I got to ask you this. I mean, you are an offensive lineman at a D1 school. You're 6'7". I mean, nobody's gonna ever forget you. Do you think that plays a part of your success?
I think it's part of that familiarity, and people find my story interesting. It's fun to talk about. We playing college football. People love college football, so it's easy to talk about. And especially in Texas, everybody has a school they root for. So it's always fun to talk about where you went to school, talk about maybe mutual people So I think part of that closing and that repeat business is having that personal familiarity with people and having that good relationship. Even if it's only a 30-minute closing, creating that lasting memory. I go home and tell my wife about closings all the time. I tell her about, guess who I met today? This person through this person, and there's always a connection. It's great.
I've heard you tell people, look, this real estate process is simple. You got a great team working for you, from agents, lenders to the closers. Enjoy the moment. Forget about the details. Trust your people. And I think that's really a testament to good public relations, is that focus on the moment. You're not going to buy a home that many times. It's new. Enjoy the moment. And I think that's great the way you do that. I have to compliment you on that.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to add about informing the customers? I mean, one question they always ask is, how long should I keep these documents? What is your recommendation?
My recommendation is keep them as long as you own the house. We are doing everything electronically nowadays, so it's real easy. You don't necessarily have to keep the paper like you used to. But if you own the house, I would keep those documents. I cannot tell you how many times I get a phone call asking for a survey from a closing 20 years ago or a settlement statement because someone's trying to sell a house and they need to figure out their basis in that house. And those are really hard for us to come up with that long ago. So keep it as long as you own the house, but it can be electronically.
Well, another question that you hear all the time is, when do I file for my homestead exemption? I mean, what do I have to do that? I mean, you answer that question.
Yeah, absolutely. So used to, I would say, after January 1st, you file for your homestead exemption, but they changed the laws in Texas recently where you can file for it immediately. It's a very easy process. You will receive a lot of junk mail, a new buyer will, saying, hey, we will apply for you. Here's how to do it. Send us $50. It's junk. You can do it yourself. You go to the Central Appraisal District for the county of the property, Dallas Central Appraisal District, for instance, and you look up your property, and then there is a button, usually within that page, that says you can either print a homestead exemption form, application form, or you can do it electronically. Electronically is very easy. They do require you to upload your driver's license, and so it's going to have that property address, and a lot of people don't realize that. The Central Appraisal District requires that, but most times you can get a new address on your driver's license online through the state of Texas for a minimal fee. It's a very easy process.
Well, one concern people have is that I don't want anybody to know what I paid for my house. Plus I don't want the appraisal district to know because they're going to increase my taxes. Do we have to tell the appraisal district that we paid for a house? Absolutely not.
We are a non-disclosure state. So the appraisal district can pull from any available records, but they are not you are not obligated to provide what you paid. And you are also not obligated to tell them what you sold it for, because they will also reach out to the sellers. So no one's required to provide that information. Your loan amount is public record, but your purchase price is not. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with the appraisal districts. They know how much you borrowed. So they might try to use that to try to figure out how much you paid, but it's not an exact science.
Do I have to, when I purchase a house or anybody, do you have to close it in your name? Like, do I have to close it in the name Murdock Richard? Can I close it with initials, or I want to maintain anonymity? Can I do that?
It depends. It's not a necessarily yes or no. A lot of it depends on your lenders, because some lenders and selling loans on the secondary mortgage market, they're not going to allow you to not use full names. Most require it. There are ways to keep that anonymity, such as trust, that could be done post-closing. Most lenders will allow that because it's not changing the beneficiary. You're still going to own the trust just like you own the house, but now we'll make it XYZ Residence Trust, and that could help you
That's a good point.
keep things anonymous. There are other ways besides just the initial.
That's a good point. Well, you know, most of the contracts, when they designate the title company, it's chosen by either the real estate agents, likely. I mean, if a customer wanted to shop it, you know, and say, I want to choose the title company that I feel most comfortable with, how would they do that?
The easiest way is to make phone calls. Is to look up title companies in your area. Just in our area alone, there are title companies all over.
Every corner.
Every corner. So you can go and ask them, okay, I'm selling my house for $500,000. What are the fees going to be? And you can talk to them, discuss with them what those fees are. People are welcome to call me directly. I'm happy to talk to them through the process and what the costs are. My costs are the same on every single file I close. It doesn't change.
So you're available if a customer wants to call you. You're available anytime. If they want to explain, you know, I'm having an issue on the repairs and I may want to terminate. What do I do about my earnest money? They can call you. You would talk to them about that, walk them through it.
Absolutely. I think that's my job, is to help all the parties, whether it's an agent, a lender, or a buyer or seller, get to the closing table or get where they want to go. So it's either close the house, or if I'm unhappy about something, how do I get out of this deal? Or how do I fix this? That's my job. That's really what I focus on. That's what's fun about it.
So if they need a boundary agreement or a power of attorney, whatever, you handle all that.
We can do it all. Any legal document, contract language, any of those things that are necessary, we can help provide.
Do you have any other advice or insights you'd like to give, you know, consumers about the title business, that milestone, the closing milestone?
I do think what you're getting in a title policy is important. I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't think title policies were important. I think they are an important piece to your home ownership. It is protecting your ownership. We have had to file claims. We're there to help people file a claim if there's ever an issue. I'm not like your insurance agent on your homeowners that turns you over to an adjuster. We're here through the whole process. So we're there to help you. I've seen claims. I've seen them cost money. I want to protect you and your investment.
Well, looking at the size of those hands, Derek, I know when a client chooses you, they're in good hands. You got them covered. When I shake hands with you, mine disappears. Thank you for joining us today, Derek. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Murdock.
Okay.